Welcome to A Second Look. I'm Kevin Wilson, Ohio District President. This is my weekly devotion for our congregations based on the scripture passages from this past weekend. This week we look at the second reading from Revelation chapter 21, verse 1. Then I saw a new heaven and new earth, for the first heaven and first earth had passed away, and the sea was no more. So often people act like heaven is this final great and wonderful destination for the faithful. In reality, God has so much more planned for his people. Now, I can kind of see why there's this expectation of heaven. It's kind of found in American culture. In general, Americans see heaven as the next stop after this life. Kind of look at heaven as this place where the soul will go to rest and be at peace. And so often, friends and acquaintances, after a loved one dies, will try to encourage us, saying he or she's in a better place. The implication, of course, is heaven. But this is almost like saying that in a marriage, the wedding is the final destination. It just doesn't make sense. I mean, yes, we want the most wonderful rehearsal and wedding celebration possible. But the bottom line is that in marriage, the real purposes of the marriage are lived out between a man and a woman throughout the rest of their lives. It's not the wedding itself, it's the marriage that continues on. And so also with us. Yes, Scripture refers to heaven, but Scripture also very specifically says that Jesus will come a second time. He will come as to judge the living and the dead. There'll be a physical resurrection from the dead. And by God's grace, we know that we'll be brought into this new heaven and new earth that's described by the Apostle John in Revelation. There's a palpable sense of hope found when we go beyond heaven. And we start to explain to those who are grieving, those who are wondering about eternity, these very specifics about Jesus' return, about the new heaven and the new earth, where God will be with us throughout eternity. Until next week, the Lord bless and guide.